So it seems there's quite a high interest in my new purchase, this Corvette C3 from 1970. And yes, this is a super beautiful car, and there's almost nobody that doesn't like the shape of the C3 Corvettes. Those were made from 1968 to 82, I think, but it's only the first couple of years where they have the chrome bumpers like this one have in both front and rear. And right now I'm on the way to go out and record a video just to test out some new firmware. So I thought I will I will take the Corvette because the weather is really nice. As I said, this type of car was only produced from 68 to 72. After 72, they skipped or they converted into this new Prane, I think it's called front bumper, and took away the chrome bumper that is sort of makes the car look retro. After, but they kept it in the back on the 73, which is the only model that has chrome bumpers in the back. After that, all of that was gone, and you have the more like a more modern looking car. But I like the vintage look of this one, so I thought also in terms of investment, if I'm gonna sell the car again at some point, it's the one with the chrome bumpers that presents the best value as it is. So that's kind of nice. Also, I found out, which I didn't know when I purchased it, is that the engine is actually the original engine that was delivered with the car. And the way that you can see that is something that's called matching numbers, meaning that if you look up the engine number, it should match whatever number is here on the windshield of the car, and it does. But there has been done some modifications to it over the time. When the previous owner had it, he took it and then he basically took the engine apart and replaced the bearings, made all the necessary changes to the engine to make it in mint condition. At the same time, he took away the headers. They are originally cast iron, but they are replaced with some aluminum, I think it's called. High performance Edelbrock tops, and also the camshafts have been replaced. Unfortunately, I have a little problem getting the exact information what type of camshafts were actually put in the car, and that might pose a challenge when I have to sort of trim in the carburetor as it is, because that would have been really nice to get that kind of information. But in general, I had a few problems along the way. For those of you that have seen the previous videos that I've done here, you would know that I had a hard time starting the car in the morning, and it turned out that the choke was built in the wrong way. So I replaced that, and this spot is open for visit. Yes. So my cunning plan for recording, that will happen here. So the issues that I had was, there was several issues, and there are still several issues with the car. Oh, that's nice. Oh, see, maybe you can see it. See? It's a bike run going on up there. Let's just kill the engine here for a second. So if you're buying a 52-year-old car, and it's very hard not to get into any kind of problems. This car is a really good condition. There's been done a lot of work on this, but still there are some areas where I need to put in some extra money or extra effort to get it fixed. And so the choke was one of the problems. That got sort of sorted out, so that's kind of working now. I had this problem with that the carburetor is not providing enough fuel when I punch it. That was another issue. And then the third issue is that the idle was really, really bad. You saw that when I picked up the car, that the idle went so low that the engine actually died. So I had to cave in and actually bring it into a shop that is located here close by, with a guy that has more than 30 years of experience messing with old American cars. And he found out that some of the vacuum tubes on the carburetor, everything is operated around vacuum with the engines like that. They were mixed up, and also the ignition was not set in the right way. So right now it's running beautifully in idle. There's absolutely no issues with that. Right now it's running maybe 600-700 RPM when I'm just cruising, and this is absolutely fantastic, and it doesn't die or anything. So that's really, really a nice cruising mode. My problem with punching the gas, that is still there, and we actually found out that the reason why this is happening is there's something called an accelerator pump inside the carburetor, which is basically a spray can. So every time that I punch the throttle, it should spray a little bit of extra fuel into the primaries of the carburetor. And this is what gives it sort of the muscle to, or the fuel that it needs to accelerate. That pump does not work, and that can fail for several reasons. It could be, I've talked to the previous owner, and he had the car since around 2010. And he has never taken the carburetor apart. So it might be just a very, very old seal that's in there. But also, if it is a very, very old seal, they are not resistant to ethanol, which they have now started to mix into the gasoline, into the fuel, and sort of bioethanol to make everything more green. So they are putting that into the fuel, so that now it's labeled E10 instead of E5 as it was in the past. And when they do that, and you use that in an old car like this, you will basically destroy the seals inside the carburetor, especially for the accelerator pump. So I need to get that one replaced. Everything could basically be fixed by a $35 kit. With all the seals and all the stuff that needs to go into this. But there are so many moving parts that if you're not putting them in the right order, it will cause a whole set of new problems. So I'm kind of thinking about what I should do. I probably need to get myself involved with somebody that knows his way around these carburetors. But just a little tour around the car, see those analog dials here in the original radio. I brought this fancy thing here, which is a transmitter, because we are not transmitting anymore with the FM band here in Denmark. So maybe a little bit, but officially we're not supporting the FM band. So and this is what the radio supports. So what this thing does is that it converts streaming from my cell phone into a FM frequency that I can then receive on the radio. That's a pretty neat little thing. There's no glove compartment. There's only these, where you can put in stuff. So there's not a lot of room in here. Automatic transmission, which is super, super nice. I was considering getting it with stick, but I ended up with automatic, and I'm really pleased that I did that, because I'm not a racing guy. So this is pretty convenient for me. The two, the dials, main dials here, they are located nicely in here. One is the speedometer, and the other one is the tachometer, I think it's called. There's this one that will allow me to pop the headlights. So if I just fire up the car here, so if I pull those, you see the headlights come up, and then they go down. And you know what? They are vacuum operated, so that's kind of funny. If you see a C3 and it pops the headlights, it's very rarely that they arrive or they pop up at the same time. That's because it's a vacuum system, and there's some vacuum boxes out there that will pop up, and then this is what triggers the headlights. The engine for this beast here is a 350 small block, so it's basically the standard engine. It has if you look at the plate here, It's listed for 300 horsepower and 350 feet of torque. This is not as powerful as if I have chosen a big block, which is the more powerful engine that you can get in these. This is a 5.7 liter engine where the big block is 7.4, and that is capable of providing a ton of torque. But according to my information, all the parts are twice the price for that type of engine, as well as it's not very easy to work on the engine because the engine room or the engine bay is completely filled out. So I'm pretty happy that I stuck with the small engine basically, which is still pretty huge compared to all other engine types that we have here in modern cars. The big blocks also have a tendency, because it's a truck engine basically, that they have dropped into this little car to overheat. Apart from it's probably being super fun to drive, it's causing a lot of extra maintenance to keep a big block car running. So I'm pretty happy with my selection of the 350 small block. And as you can see, the engine room is really nicely organized. So this was just a short video on the way to recording a video with this Mini 3 Pro that I'm going to test out the latest DJI Fly app 1.6.10. That is the official release. There was a beta version that was released prior to this that was causing a ton of problems. So hopefully those are fixed on Android phones. This was just me talking about the car, but of course I will make a proper review at some point in case that you want that. Let me know in the comments below. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around. And of course, I will make a proper review of this car at some point.